Good morning. This is Grassroots Rising, and I'm Jimmy Skogard. Today we're going to talk about groundwork to inventory. The road behind us in April was long and winding, stretching from the wind-swept plains of Laramie to the towering peaks of Jackson. As I look back on those miles, I realize that we spent the month looking for a purple window, a space where common ground exists between the rigid labels of modern politics. We searched for the politically homeless and the quiet voices who feel the system has left them behind. Now we have arrived at the start of May, and it's time to take what we gathered and turn it into a blueprint. We're moving from the groundwork of April into a phase I call the architecture of integrity. Throughout my travels, I encountered moments that reminded me of why this structural work is so urgent. In Pine Bluffs, a conversation about the staggering reality of our national debt and deficit led a neighbor to label me a Liz Cheney Republican. That was a new one, Liz Cheney Republican. It was a striking example of how we use labels as a human defense mechanism. We slap a name on a person or concept so we can stop thinking about the uncomfortable truths that they are presenting. If we can categorize someone, we no longer have to engage with their ideas. And that's a habit we must break if we want to solve the problems facing this great state. In Douglas, I met Jim, a man with deep passion, the moral willpower of our representatives. We discussed the need for leaders who have courage to stand beside those like Thomas Massey in opposition to the sheltering of the most heinous crimes imaginable. Jim spoke of the investigations into child sex trafficking and the cover-ups that seem to protect those at the top of the food chain. We call it the privilege of power, the ability to shield oneself from retribution, accountability, and the disinfecting light of day simply because of one's status of wealth. And that's a sad state of affairs. When we allow big money to act as a barrier to justice, it just reinforces why we need a government built on a foundation of equal application of law, built by the people, for the people, and of the people. When I reached Jackson, these themes of power and fear followed me into the most everyday of places. At a local Target, I spoke with a teller and called her Tracy to protect her from the very thing she fears, retribution. She talked about how folks, especially those working within or near government, are often so terrified to speak out that when their representatives fail them, the fear of retaliation for speech is a rising trend that threatens the very agency of our citizens, our citizenship. It's why one of our primary goals this month is to design tools for democratic participation. The tools should be non-traceable, they should be secure, and they should ensure that no one has to choose between their conscience and their livelihood for speaking, as is their right in our system of government. As we approach the May 13th deadline, this artificial deadline imposed upon us by the 2023 legislature in the state of Wyoming to change or modify our affiliation, violation of our freedom of speech, we are moving from the vision of a balanced center toward the hard engineering of policy. This movement is building pillars of digital security to protect our identities, transparency measures to open the government's ledger, and health care reforms that put parents before corporations. We recognize that we are all capable of being both compassionate and callous, but our goal is to build a structure that encourages our best instincts. The architecture of integrity is about creating a system that represents us without trying to control us, and it starts with honest work, and that work starts today. Because agency means the ability to decide our future for ourselves. Yeah, we still hold that power, but only if we choose to use it. Our children's and our grandchildren's legacy is in our hands now. Please join the movement at skogard2026.org. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.